tell me, do you wanna go where it's covered in all the colored lights, where the runaways are running the night, impossible comes true, it's taking over you.
The Greatest Showman is a recently released musical loosely based on the life of P.T. Barnum, an American showman and also politician. Here's my review. The story is well written and compelling, and as well as providing us with an incredible movie, actually tells us the life of P.T. Barnum, as a lot of the plot points in the film happened to Barnum in real life. The film starts off with a preview of the circus he built, but then quickly cuts to his time as a child and him growing up on the streets, and then focusing on him growing the business and how he created the incredible circus show, The Greatest Show Ever, that still ran until last year after 146 years. After he starts the show, he meets a young playwright named Philip Carlyle, who is based on the real-life partner of Barnum, James Bailey, who then joins the circus. Shortly after, the circus is invited to England by the Queen at the time, Queen Victoria, at which Barnum meets a famous Swedish singer called Jenny Lind. Leaving Carlyle in charge, he decides to risk all he's built, taking out a huge loan to tour the country of Lind. The show is a huge hit before they come to an awkward understanding. Lind then quits the tour, and Barnum is left with nothing but his circus show. But because of the nature of the show, the fact that people don't understand the wacky and the weird, the protests go overboard, finally destroying everything. Luckily, Carlyle kept his wage from his share of the circus. Buying a tent, they rebuild the circus. And there's the story of the film, recapping for everyone who hasn't seen it, or people who haven't seen it yet. I know the story I described wasn't very long, but I did want to leave some parts to people who haven't seen the film yet. By far, the acting in this musical is some of the best acting I've ever seen. Hugh and Zach both had incredible performances, and I'm glad that they're back acting in musicals again. Hugh actually got nominated to win a Golden Globe, but unfortunately lost out to James Franco. All of the smaller roles also had fantastic performances. Everyone I've talked to has agreed with me in saying this film was fantastically cast, and everyone was perfect in their roles. And an unlikely star of the show was, for me, Zendaya. She was fantastic and clearly went above and beyond with her performance, learning how to do a lot of the moves you see in her scene with Zach for real. For example, she had to actually perform a lot of these moves a good 30 feet in the air. The lyrics for all the songs were written by Ben Pasek and Justin Paul, who are famous for their work on La La Land, another incredible film. All the songs are incredible. They're also powerful and just swept me off my feet. Personally, I've been listening to the soundtrack for 2 weeks straight, and the song that made everyone swell up with tears was This Is Me, which won a Golden Globe for Best Original Song. But my personal favourite was either The Other Side or From Now On. From Now On was an incredibly powerful and inspirational song, and The Other Side was just great because Zach and Hugh are fantastic in it. The camera work in the scene is great, and the song is just incredible, and probably made the film for me. The camera work in the film is sublime. In scenes like the dances, it helps you to focus on what is really important in the scene, as well as it making it feel like they're performing right in front of you, as if it were like at a theatre, for example. It also helps build up suspense. For example, at the start, when Hugh is covered in shadow, that was the best start to a musical I've ever seen, purely because of the camera work, and how well it was put together. But since this is a review, I do have to cover the negatives of the film. I didn't thought much in the film, but I am biased because I loved it so much, so I had to think about it more critically. Since it is based on a true story, you expect it to be true in most senses to what actually happened to P.T. Barnum during his life. But it's not completely true to history, as Barnum was also a politician, and that was a massive part of his life. And it's famous one of the tricks he played as a child, where he hired a slave to pretend to be a nanny of one of the presidents, and he would charge people to talk to her. So unfortunately, we don't get a strong idea of the history behind the character, as it misses out on some crucial parts of his life. But that is really all I could thought about the film. If you haven't seen it yet, go and watch it. It's worth every penny, and everyone I've talked to walked out that cinema feeling flustered because of the emotional rollercoaster the film takes you on. And the reviews from websites like Rotten Tomatoes I feel are unjust. For me, I loved it, and it was the best film of 2017 by far for me. So my final word is, if you haven't seen it, go and watch it.